Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Science Channel. Tonight, we'll be exploring the endlessly fascinating and wonderfully diverse world of eyes. These tiny, luminous gateways are the very place in which your mind meets the world. Even in stillness, they shimmer with mystery. They pick up light from distant stars, catch the tiniest of movements, and weave all of it into the story you call reality. Every glance holds a universe of intricate lenses and mechanics. Every blink resets the world. And every beautiful moment of sight is built upon millions of years of evolution. If you enjoy these quiet journeys, I invite you to like, subscribe, or share a thought below. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. But for now, all you need to do is relax. Let your body soften and allow yourself to drift into the wonderful world of eyes. Let's begin. Some lizards have a third eye hidden beneath their skin. High on the heads of certain reptiles lies a small light-sensing organ known as a parietal eye. It does not form images like the primary pair of eyes. Instead, it detects changes in brightness that help regulate daily rhythms and seasonal behavior. In many species, it is covered by a thin layer of skin or scales that softens incoming light. Its internal structure includes a lens, a rudimentary retina, and a nerve connection to areas of the brain involved in biological timing. This ancient organ offers clues about the early evolution of vision. It may help lizards sense overhead predators, align themselves with the sun for efficient basking, or maintain stable cycles of rest and activity. Although recent evolution has reduced its prominence in many lineages, its presence remains a reminder that eyes come in diverse forms, shaped by the needs of different environments. While hidden from ordinary view, the parietal eye quietly contributes to the survival of creatures that rely on light in ways far removed from human experience. Some birds can track movements faster than the human brain can comprehend. Raptors and other aerial specialists must react in fractions of a heartbeat to catch prey or navigate through complex terrain at speed. Their visual systems are tuned not only for acuity, but also for temporal resolution, the ability to separate rapidly changing images into distinct moments. Their eyes feed information to brain circuits that process motion at a rate far beyond human capacity, allowing them to follow the trajectory of a darting animal or adjust their flight path during high-velocity dives. To a person, the same movement might appear as a blur, while to the bird it unfolds as a series of clear positions, each informing the next adjustment of wings and tail. Some species even have specialized regions in the retina with exceptionally high densities of cells dedicated to tracking motion against the horizon. In the open sky, where distances are great and errors costly, this speed of perception can make the difference between a successful hunt and a dangerous collision. Some animals can see ultraviolet patterns on flowers and feathers. Bees, many birds, and several other species possess photoreceptors that respond to wavelengths beyond the human visible spectrum. To them, an ordinary flower may appear adorned with guiding patterns that direct pollinators toward nectar. Feathers that look uniformly colored to humans may shine with hidden contrasts that help individuals recognize mates or rivals. The ability to see ultraviolet transforms the landscape into a more informative world, filled with signals designed through evolution to attract attention. These patterns may highlight landing zones, identify species, or warn of toxicity. Ultraviolet sensitivity also assists with navigation, since certain atmospheric conditions produce sky patterns visible only at these wavelengths. For creatures that rely on ultraviolet light, these cues are as familiar as human visible colors, shaping daily behavior through channels invisible to most observers. Their visual universe stretches beyond human imagination. The pupil changes shape in some animals to sharpen their view of the world. In species such as goats, cats, and certain amphibians, the pupil forms a shape tailored to the ecological needs of the animal. Horizontal pupils broaden the field of view for grazers, allowing them to monitor the horizon for approaching danger while feeding. Vertical pupils enhance depth judgment for predators that rely on accurate strikes during ambush. The shape of the opening affects how light enters the eye and how the lens bends that light, altering the clarity of objects at various distances. These designs also help manage bright sunlight or dim twilight conditions. The pupil is not merely a circular gateway, but an adjustable aperture sculpted by environmental pressures. Each form offers advantages matched to the lifestyle of the species, demonstrating the versatility of optical evolution. Some creatures have compound eyes with hundreds of working units. Insects such as dragonflies and bees view the world through eyes composed of many small facets known as ommatidia. Each facet collects light from its own portion of the environment, producing a mosaic-like representation. The arrangement allows for exceptional sensitivity to motion because changes in one facet stand out clearly from its neighbors. Some species have regions with especially dense clusters of ommatidia for tracking prey or navigating through cluttered spaces. Although compound eyes do not produce the same fine detail as the human fovea, they excel at wide-angle vision and rapid response. Each unit has its own lens, photoreceptors, and dedicated neural pathway, forming a distributed network that captures environmental changes almost instantly. The resulting visual world is fast, expansive, and well-suited to the demands of flight or swift movement. The octopus evolved an eye that mirrors ours through convergent evolution. In the dark water of ancient seas, two very different branches of life solved the challenge of image-forming vision in remarkably similar ways. Vertebrates on one path and cephalopods on another developed organs with corneas, lenses, irises, and retinas arranged in comparable layouts, despite having distant ancestry. Yet the details of construction differ in telling ways. In octopuses, the photoreceptors face the incoming light, avoiding the blind spot that exists where vertebrate nerve fibers leave the eye. The supporting tissues, embryonic development, and molecular building blocks also follow distinct rules. These similarities and differences provide a powerful example of how natural selection can discover similar overall designs when facing similar problems, even through unrelated lineages. The octopus uses its visual system for camouflage, navigation, and complex behavior, relying on an organ that feels eerily familiar to anyone who studies anatomy. Two very different minds, one with a backbone and one without, look out on the world through structures that echo one another across deep evolutionary time. Your eyes constantly make tiny movements to prevent the world from fading away. Even when you try to hold your gaze perfectly still, microscopic motions ripple through your eye muscles. These shifts are not mistakes. They are essential to vision itself. Photoreceptors tire quickly when exposed to an unchanged pattern of light. If an image remained completely fixed on the retina, the receptors would adapt, and the world would begin to fade into a pale blankness. To prevent this loss, the AIs generate constant jittering movements known as microsaccades, along with subtle drifts and tremors. Each motion refreshes the pattern of light by shifting it across neighboring cells. The brain then blends these refreshed glimpses into a stable scene, giving the illusion of stillness. Artists sometimes notice this effect when staring at a single point for too long and watching surrounding colors dim. These tiny adjustments also sharpen edges, help detect fine details, and maintain focus during quiet moments of thought. Without this ceaseless dance of motion, vision would collapse into silence, revealing just how active sight truly is beneath the surface of awareness. Some animals see colors that humans cannot even imagine. For many creatures, the spectrum that feels complete to a human is only a narrow slice of possibility. Birds, reef fish, and many invertebrates carry additional types of light-sensitive cells, tuned to wavelengths that fall beyond human perception. Where a person sees a plain petal or a simple feather, these animals may see intricate maps of contrast, glowing signatures that indicate food, mates, or hidden danger. Their brains are wired to interpret combinations of signals that never occur in a human retina, creating hues and blends that do not have names in any language. Color, in that wider sense, is not only a physical property of light, it is a biological invention of each species. What feels like a full rainbow to a human observer is only one design among many. Imagining how a butterfly or a starling views a garden is like trying to imagine a new primary color. Their world is painted with dimensions of radiance that sit forever outside human experience, yet they are all around, humming silently in the shared daylight. The human eye is a living window into the brain. Behind the colored ring and dark pupil lies a direct line into the deepest parts of the nervous system. Light enters, but what truly forms is not a picture on a surface. It is a pattern of signals that races along delicate fibers into regions that shape thought, memory, and emotion. Visual information mingles with past experiences, with expectations and fears, and with quiet hopes carried for years. A single glance can trigger a flood of recollection, a shift in mood, or a sudden insight, all because these pathways reach into the same circuits that govern feeling and identity. When a person studies a painting, reads a face, or gazes at a distant skyline, the eye is feeding the brain with streams of ordered energy, and the brain answers by composing meaning. In that sense, vision is not simply received, it is actively created. The eye lets the outer world touch the inner world, and every scene becomes a bridge between the physical landscape and the private universe of the mind. Eyes can detect a single photon under perfect conditions. The smallest unit of light, a lone particle crossing the darkness, is unimaginably faint, yet the visual system is tuned with such delicacy that receptors can register its arrival. In carefully controlled experiments, people sitting in complete darkness can sometimes correctly report the presence of a single quantum of light entering the eye. Inside the photoreceptors, molecules are configured so that the touch of that one particle can flip a chemical switch. That change triggers a cascade of amplification, like a whisper passed through a chain of sensitive microphones, until the signal becomes strong enough for the brain to notice. Everyday life is far noisier, filled with scattered photons, internal biological fluctuations, and constant movement. So this exquisite sensitivity is usually hidden beneath the blur of normal experience. Yet it is always there, a reminder that vision operates at the edge where physics and biology meet. The same organs that handle bright midday scenes also have the potential to respond to the faintest possible trace of light that nature can offer. The retina is an extension of the central nervous system. At the back of the eye sits a thin, layered sheet of tissue that is far more than a passive screen. It is formed from the same developing material that creates the brain and spinal cord, and it maintains many of the same types of neurons. In those layers, light-sensitive cells connect to intricate networks of interneurons that compare, sharpen, and shape the signals long before they leave the eye. Some of these cells emphasize edges, others highlight motion, and others calculate contrasts between neighboring regions of the image. There are circuits that respond specifically to darkening, to brightening, to small points, or to gentle gradients. By the time information reaches the long fibers that carry it deeper into the skull, much of the raw data has already been distilled into meaningful patterns. This internal processing explains why a change in lighting or focus can transform what is noticed in an instant. The structure inside the globe of the eye is, in a very real sense, brain tissue moved forward toward the light, working tirelessly to turn photons into organized signals. Some deep-sea creatures have mirror-based eyes instead of lens-based eyes. Far below the surface, where sunlight fades into a permanent twilight, evolution has explored unusual designs for gathering the few surviving rays. Certain crustaceans and fish have developed eyes lined with layers of reflective crystals that function like finely tuned mirrors. Instead of bending light through a transparent lens, these structures bounce and concentrate it onto the light-sensitive surface, a little like a precision satellite dish focusing faint radio waves. The arrangement of the mirror segments can be adjusted as the animal grows, allowing the organ to stay efficient as body size changes. In some species, the reflective elements are arranged to reduce blur from different wavelengths, solving optical problems in a way quite different from glass lenses. The result is vision adapted specifically for dim and blue shifted light that filters down from above. In the quiet darkness of the deep ocean, these mirrored organs collect and redirect what little illumination exists, granting their owners the ability to see silhouettes, glows, and subtle movements that would otherwise vanish into black water. The mantis shrimp has the most complex eyes known on Earth. This small marine hunter carries visual organs that seem almost alien in their sophistication. Each eye is mounted on a stalk and divided into distinct regions, with a central band that scans like a built-in sensor array. Within that band lie numerous types of photoreceptor cells, far more than the familiar 3 classes that humans rely on for color. Some respond to different portions of the visible spectrum, others to ultraviolet, and others to different states of polarization, giving these animals access to patterns in light that are entirely hidden to most creatures. Each eye can judge depth on its own because different rows of receptors view the world from slightly offset positions. This means that even one eye can perform complex distance calculations. The animal uses this extraordinary hardware to target rapid strikes with stunning precision, to communicate with vivid body patterns, and perhaps to navigate complex reef habitats. While the exact subjective experience remains unknown, the physical machinery suggests a visual world filled with cues and subtleties beyond ordinary imagination. Human peripheral vision is wired for motion before detail. Away from the center of gaze, the retina shifts its priorities. The outer regions contain more light-sensitive rod cells and fewer fine detail cone cells, creating a zone that excels at catching movement and changes in brightness. Neural circuits in these areas favor broad shapes, sudden shifts, and looming objects over fine patterns or text. When something moves at the edge of awareness, the signal can reach attention quickly, even if the form remains blurry. This arrangement reflects deep evolutionary pressures. Early detection of a predator or an approaching object would have been more valuable than the ability to read the texture on a leaf at the margin of sight. Even today, a flicker in peripheral view can interrupt concentration on a screen or page because those older warning pathways still carry weight. Central vision then takes over, directing the eyes to swivel so that the detailed foveal region can inspect what first appeared as a vague disturbance along the border of awareness. No 2 eyes in the world create the same pattern of light and shadow. Every pair of eyes is shaped by genetics, development, and experience, resulting in subtle differences in curvature, clarity, pigment, and internal structure. The cornea bends light according to its exact contour. The lens has its own unique arrangement of transparent fibers, and the distribution of photoreceptors varies across the retina. Even tiny variations in pupil size or iris texture change how light enters and spreads. On top of that, each brain learns to interpret visual input based on personal history, habits, and cultural context. Two people looking at the same scene, therefore, receive slightly different mosaics of brightness and color, then apply distinct internal filters shaped by memory and attention. For one observer, a landscape might highlight paths and human structures. For another, it may emphasize shapes of trees or patterns of shadow. This individuality means that every moment of sight is a singular event, a blend of physical optics and neural interpretation that belongs only to one living observer at that point in time. The fovea gives you high-resolution vision in a space smaller than a grain of sand. Near the center of the retina lies a tiny circular region packed with cone cells arranged for extraordinary precision. This minuscule zone captures the crisp details needed for reading, threading a needle, or recognizing a face at a glance. Although the fovea occupies only a tiny fraction of the entire visual field, the brain devotes immense processing power to the signals that flow from it. Every time your eyes dart to something interesting, they are positioning the fovea directly over the object so that its details can be examined with maximum clarity. Outside this region, vision becomes softer and more dependent on motion and contrast. The fovea works so well because each cone connects to its own dedicated neural pathway, preserving the sharpness of the original signal. The structure is shaped like a shallow pit that allows light to reach the photoreceptors with minimal scattering. This tiny architectural masterpiece lets you read text, admire intricate artwork, and appreciate subtle facial expressions with remarkable fidelity. The human eye can differentiate millions of shades of color. Within the retina, 3 major classes of cone cells respond to overlapping ranges of wavelengths. The brain compares the relative activity of these cones to generate a vast range of hues. Subtle shifts in stimulation create delicate gradations that fill the world with nuance. Over a lifetime, the visual system continually refines this sensitivity as it learns through experience. With practice, a person can become even more adept at noticing fine distinctions between related shades. Artists, gardeners, and scientists often train this ability through repeated exposure to complex color environments. Under natural lighting, the visual system can detect slight differences that reveal ripe fruit, healthy vegetation, or atmospheric changes before they become obvious in other ways. Even though the underlying hardware consists of only 3 types of sensors, the interaction between them produces an immense palette. Each moment of color perception is the result of countless comparisons carried out in regions of the brain specialized for hue, brightness, and contrast. The richness of the world depends on this quiet computational orchestra. The ability to see depth comes from a harmony of micro-timed signals. Your perception of 3-dimensional space relies on more than simply having 2 eyes. Each eye receives slightly different information about distance, angle, and motion. The brain merges these signals with astonishing speed, using tiny differences in timing and position to construct a sense of depth. Even the movement of your own head provides additional clues as nearby objects shift more noticeably than distant ones. Muscles in the eyes report their level of strain when focusing and turning inward, offering still more information. All these cues must arrive in well-orchestrated sequences. If the timing is disrupted, depth becomes uncertain, and the world can appear flat or unstable. This precision highlights the complexity of the neural pathways that interpret spatial layout. When everything aligns correctly, you navigate crowded rooms, catch moving objects, and judge distances with remarkable ease. The smooth coordination that produces depth perception is one of the brain's most elegant achievements. Your brain reconstructs reality from rapid flickers of visual data. Light reaches the eyes in a continuous stream, yet the brain processes vision as a sequence of discrete updates. Neurons fire in rapid bursts, each carrying partial information about color, brightness, movement, and form. The brain must weave these fragments into a seamless world. It predicts what should come next, fills in gaps, and smooths transitions so that motion appears fluid rather than jittery. This reconstruction process happens unconsciously and incredibly fast. When something unexpected occurs, the brain adjusts its predictions and recalculates the scene. Much of what you perceive in any moment is therefore a blend of incoming signals and internal expectations. This dynamic process keeps you oriented in a changing environment, enabling you to read facial expressions, track moving objects, and maintain balance. The stable reality you experience is a masterpiece of constant interpretation. The cornea is one of the most densely innervated tissues in the body. The transparent front surface of the eye contains an intricate web of nerve endings that extend into its layers. These nerves protect the eye by responding quickly to irritation, dryness, or foreign particles. Even a slight disturbance triggers blinking or tear production, preserving clarity and preventing injury. The sensitivity exists because the cornea lacks blood vessels and relies on a delicate balance of moisture and oxygen. Any disruption threatens its transparency and therefore the quality of vision. The dense innervation also helps regulate healing processes when the surface is damaged. Despite its vulnerability, the cornea maintains remarkable resilience. Its structure allows light to pass with minimal distortion, while its nerves ensure that even small hazards are detected swiftly. This combination of transparency and vigilance keeps the window of the eye clear and functional in a world filled with potential irritants. A tiny blind spot in every retina disappears through brain interpretation. Where the optic nerve exits the eye, photoreceptors are absent, creating a small region incapable of detecting light. Yet you never notice a hole in your vision because the brain fills it effortlessly. It draws from surrounding colors, textures, and patterns to create a seamless image that appears uninterrupted. This process is not guesswork, but a highly trained synthesis shaped through years of experience. When an object crosses this region, the brain predicts its continuation based on motion and context, preserving the illusion of completeness. Experiments that reveal this blind zone often surprise people because the effect is always active, hiding a structural gap that would otherwise interrupt perception. The filling-in mechanism highlights how much of sight relies on interpretation rather than raw input. Instead of simply receiving images, your brain constructs them, smoothing imperfections, merging signals, and ensuring continuity. This compensation works so well that only deliberate tests expose the invisible patch each of us carries. The human eye can resolve the glow of distant galaxies with patience and darkness. Under a clear night sky, far from bright city lights, the naked eye can detect faint smudges of light that originated in galaxies far beyond the Milky Way. These distant glows represent clusters of stars so numerous that their combined radiance reaches Earth despite unimaginable distances. The ability to perceive these faint signals depends on chemical processes in the rod cells. They become more sensitive over time as they adjust to darkness, increasing their capacity to detect small amounts of incoming light. With steady attention, the brain enhances subtle contrasts and recognizes diffuse shapes that would otherwise remain invisible. Although the details remain soft, the recognition of those remote islands of stars connects the human observer to cosmic structures that lie across vast stretches of space. When people gaze at these dim patches, they are witnessing ancient light that has traveled through near emptiness for extraordinary spans of time before meeting the delicate tissues of the eye. Some frogs can see in nearly total darkness. In shadowed forests and murky wetlands, certain frog species rely on eyes adapted for extreme low-light conditions. Their retinas contain unusually large rod cells capable of capturing scattered photons that bounce through dense vegetation or across reflective water surfaces. These cells operate with remarkable sensitivity, allowing the frogs to detect movement even when the environment appears pitch black to human observers. The shape of their pupils also shifts dramatically, broadening to admit the maximum possible light. Some species possess reflective layers behind the retina that redirect unused photons back through the photoreceptors, giving the visual system a second chance to absorb them. These adaptations support nocturnal hunting and predator avoidance, enabling frogs to navigate through thick undergrowth with confidence. Their world at night is not a featureless void, but a landscape patterned with faint silhouettes and subtle motions that guide survival in habitats where visibility challenges define daily life. The eyelid blinks in rhythms that change with emotion. Blinking seems automatic, yet its timing subtly reflects inner states. During calm concentration, blinks may occur less often, preserving a steady flow of visual information. During moments of uncertainty or heightened thinking, blink frequency often increases as attention shifts between external scenes and internal reflections. Emotional states influence this rhythm as well. Surprise can halt blinking temporarily, while worry or fatigue may accelerate it. The eyelid is controlled by a delicate interplay of voluntary and involuntary muscles, guided by neural circuits sensitive to cognitive load and mood. Beyond moisture regulation and protection, blinking contributes to mental pacing. It punctuates thought, offering tiny pauses that help the brain transition between ideas. Observers trained in behavioral science sometimes use blink timing as one clue in understanding engagement or emotional tension. These tiny closures are a continuous silent conversation between body and mind. Owl eyes are so large, they cannot move in their sockets. Owls rely on eyes shaped for maximum light gathering. These organs are large and tubular rather than spherical, packed with photoreceptors optimized for dim environments. Their size leaves little room for rotation inside the skull, meaning the bird cannot glance sideways without turning its entire head. To compensate, owls evolved remarkable flexibility in their neck vertebrae, allowing them to rotate their heads through impressive arcs that far exceed human capability. This ability lets them maintain a wide field of surveillance while perched silently in the darkness. The combination of large stationary eyes and agile neck movement creates a highly effective system for night hunting. With their heightened sensitivity to faint motion and their capacity to reposition their gaze instantly, owls can detect and target prey with uncanny accuracy. Their adaptations illustrate how structure and behavior evolve together to meet the demands of a nocturnal life. The blue color of eyes comes from scattered light, not pigment. Despite their striking appearance, blue irises contain very little blue pigment. Instead, the hue arises from the way light interacts with the microscopic structure of the iris. Collagen fibers scatter shorter wavelengths more efficiently than longer ones, causing the reflected light to appear blue to an observer. This phenomenon is similar to the color of a clear sky, which forms through scattering within the atmosphere. Variations in fiber density and arrangement lead to a wide range of shades, from pale icy tones to deep azure. The underlying tissue contains melanin, but in smaller amounts than in darker eyes. The final appearance depends on how incoming light is dispersed rather than absorbed. This structural color affects how the eyes look under different lighting conditions, sometimes shifting slightly with angle or brightness. The effect demonstrates how biological materials can create vivid hues through physical processes rather than chemical pigmentation. Some fish can look up and down at the same time. Species that inhabit the interface between water layers often require awareness of what occurs above and below them simultaneously. To achieve this, some fish possess eyes divided into functional regions that focus on different directions. The upper half may be adapted for viewing the brighter world above, while the lower half functions in dimmer underwater surroundings. Each region has a lens curvature tailored to its lighting environment. This arrangement allows the fish to detect predators from the surface while also monitoring prey or obstacles below. The division is not a simple split, but an elegant optical compromise shaped through generations of selection. These animals navigate dynamic habitats such as mangroves, tidal pools, and shallow rivers, where incoming light varies dramatically with angle. By maintaining watch in two directions at once, they stay alert to changing conditions that could determine survival. Human vision uses more of the brain than any other sense. Large regions of the cortex are devoted to interpreting visual information. Signals from the eyes pass through multiple processing stages, each specializing in particular features such as edges, colors, movements, or spatial relationships. As these layers merge, they form coherent scenes filled with meaning. Additional areas integrate vision with memory, language, and decision-making. This extensive network reflects the complexity of transforming raw light into perception. The brain must constantly filter, group, and prioritize incoming stimuli, selecting what to focus on while ignoring distractions. Vision also interacts with systems controlling movement, allowing you to adjust posture, coordinate hand actions, and navigate through space. The sheer scale of neural involvement shows how central sight is to human experience. Every moment of seeing represents an immense collaboration among countless cells working in synchrony. Some insects can perceive the polarization of sunlight. Dragonflies, ants, and many other species detect the orientation of light waves in the sky. This ability allows them to determine direction even when the sun is hidden behind clouds or terrain. Specialized photoreceptors respond differently depending on how light is polarized. By comparing signals across the eye, insects create maps of sky patterns that act like natural compasses. These patterns change with the position of the sun, offering reliable cues for navigation. In open landscapes, polarization vision helps insects travel long distances, locate water, and return to their nests with precision. The mechanism highlights an aspect of sunlight that remains invisible to most humans. For creatures equipped with this sense, the sky holds geometric information that guides purposeful movement. The retina contains layers of neurons that pre-process images before the brain sees them. As light enters the eye, it passes through a series of interconnected cells that begin refining the raw signal immediately. Some neurons emphasize edges by comparing brightness between neighboring areas. Others detect direction and speed of movement. Still others adjust sensitivity in response to changing light levels. This pre-processing reduces the burden on higher brain centers by organizing information into manageable streams. It also increases efficiency by sending only the most meaningful patterns forward. The multi-layered architecture resembles a biological circuit board, with each type of cell contributing to the transformation of light into structure and motion. By the time signals reach the optic nerve, the image has already been filtered, sharpened, and prepared for interpretation. This early refinement allows for fast reactions and accurate perception in environments filled with complexity. The human eye begins forming within weeks of early development. Before a heartbeat becomes steady or limbs take shape, a pair of small, outward folds begins to form on the early nervous system. These folds deepen, widen, and eventually create the foundations of the eyes. Even at this delicate stage, chemical gradients and electrical cues determine where future photoreceptors will reside, how the lens will curve, and where neural pathways will extend. As development continues, tiny vessels nourish the growing tissues until the eye reaches a level of structural complexity unmatched by nearly any other organ. The retina forms from the same embryonic layer that shapes the brain, which is why it behaves much like a living extension of neural tissue. During this time, cells migrate with extraordinary precision to assemble the many layers that eventually capture light and convert it into meaning. By the time a newborn first opens its eyes, millions of intricate connections have already formed. These early visual foundations allow the infant brain to begin mapping the world long before conscious memory appears. Sight emerges not suddenly, but through weeks of careful biological choreography that sets the stage for a lifetime of perception. Cats have reflective tissue that amplifies dim light. Inside every feline eye lies a shimmering layer known for its ability to magnify faint glimmers that pass through the retina. When light enters, some of it slips past the photoreceptors, but instead of being lost, it reaches this reflective sheet where it bounces back through the retina a second time. This double exposure significantly increases the sensitivity needed for twilight hunting. As a result, cats can navigate environments where most creatures would see nothing but darkness. The reflective tissue also creates the familiar glow when light catches the eyes of a cat at night. That glow is not decorative. It is the signature of an optical strategy built for stealth, movement, and survival. The structure is arranged to enhance the blue and green wavelengths common in dim conditions, giving cats an advantage as they stalk across moonlit landscapes. Their pupils widen dramatically to capture every trace of available light, and the retina processes these faint signals with remarkable efficiency. The combined effect is night vision that feels almost supernatural to human observers. Yet for cats, it is simply a fundamental part of daily life. The iris holds unique patterns that are more individual than fingerprints. Within the colored ring that surrounds the pupil lies a tapestry of delicate fibers, folds, and crypts that form patterns so intricate they rarely resemble another set in the entire world. These variations arise through subtle developmental processes influenced by genetics, pressure gradients, pigment distribution, and early tissue movement. Even identical twins who share nearly identical DNA possess irises that differ in fine structural details. Unlike fingerprints, which can wear down or change through injury, iris patterns remain remarkably stable over a lifetime. Each ring of color reflects a unique interplay between pigment cells and underlying muscular structures that control pupil size. Although these patterns appear decorative, they play a functional role by influencing how light enters the eye and how quickly the pupil responds to changes in brightness. Researchers studying ocular geometry often marvel at how complex and variable these patterns are, even among closely related individuals. What appears to be a simple splash of blue, green, hazel, or brown is actually a biological signature created through countless microscopic events, each leaving a mark that cannot be replicated. Some snakes see heat as a separate visual channel. In certain species, specialized organs near the mouthhouse membranes that respond to tiny temperature differences in the environment. These structures detect infrared radiation with sensitivity great enough to perceive the warmth of a small animal even in complete darkness. When combined with normal vision, this thermal channel allows snakes to create a layered perception of their surroundings. They do not simply sense warmth as a vague glow. Instead, they form spatial maps that highlight living creatures with remarkable accuracy. Neurons within these heat-sensing organs connect to brain regions that help coordinate strikes, track moving prey, and navigate nighttime environments. This ability gives snakes an advantage in hunting because it does not require visible light, reflections, or motion. Even a still, warm object reveals itself through the faint radiation it emits. The coexistence of heat vision and conventional sight demonstrates how different species develop sensory systems tailored specifically to their ecological needs. What humans experience as darkness becomes, for these snakes, a detailed landscape shaped by temperature gradients and living heat signatures. Your eyes constantly predict motion before it happens. The visual system never waits passively for information to arrive. It anticipates changes, projects trajectories, and prepares the body to respond even before an object completes its movement. When something travels across your field of view, neurons responsible for motion detection fire in patterns that correspond not only to what is happening now, but also to what will likely happen in the next fraction of tau, a moment. This predictive ability smooths motion, allowing fast-moving objects to appear continuous rather than fragmented. It also supports everyday tasks such as reaching for a cup, catching an object, or simply watching someone gesture. Without prediction, the world would appear delayed and disjointed because neural signals take time to travel and be processed. By forecasting motion, the brain compensates for these delays and creates a sense of fluidity. This mechanism operates constantly, even when you are not aware of it. Through prediction, the eyes and brain transform a world in constant motion into one that feels stable, coherent, and immediately understandable. The lens continues to grow slowly throughout a lifetime. Unlike many bodily structures that reach a fixed size, the lens adds new layers of transparent fibers year after year. These layers form concentrically, similar to rings in a tree, gradually increasing thickness and altering how the lens bends light. Because the lens lacks blood vessels, it relies on carefully balanced fluids and internal proteins to maintain clarity. Over time, the increasing density makes focusing on close objects more challenging, illustrating how subtle changes in one structure can influence the entire visual system. Despite ongoing growth, the lens remains remarkably flexible in youth, shaping itself quickly to shift focus between near and distant scenes. Only later in life does this flexibility decline, revealing just how much effort the lens must exert every moment you look around. Its continuing growth is a testament to biological persistence, a slow and constant remodeling that supports vision through decades of activity. Some animals can move their eyes independently like tiny periscopes. Chameleons and several species of fish and reptiles possess eyes capable of swiveling in different directions at the same time. This independence grants them panoramic awareness without requiring head movement. Each eye gathers separate information that the brain processes in parallel, allowing the animal to monitor predators, prey, or environmental changes across a wide arc. When a chameleon focuses on a particular target, both eyes eventually align to provide depth perception for the strike. Until that moment, however, they scan their surroundings with extraordinary freedom. The muscles that control these movements operate with precision, adjusting angles and focus independently. This system allows the animal to conserve energy by keeping its body still while maintaining high vigilance. The result is an elegant blend of surveillance and stealth, perfectly suited to habitats where motion attracts attention and stillness guarantees safety. The brain creates a stable visual world despite constant head movements. Every time you walk, breathe, or shift your posture, your head moves in subtle ways. These motions should blur the world, yet vision remains steady because the brain uses input from balance organs in the inner ear to compensate. When the head tilts or turns, reflexes adjust eye position to counteract the motion, preserving the stability of the image on the retina. At the same time, higher processing centers interpret shifting signals by predicting which changes arise from body movement and which arise from real changes in the environment. This combination of reflexive and cognitive compensation allows you to read while riding in a moving vehicle, follow a conversation while nodding, or navigate uneven ground without losing clarity. The stability of perception depends on the seamless integration of sensory pathways that merge information from sight, balance, and motion into a coherent whole that feels anchored even during continuous movement. Your eyes and ears coordinate to judge distance with precision. Depth perception involves far more than visual cues. tiny delays in sound, slight differences in pitch, and echoes from surrounding surfaces provide crucial information that the brain merges with visual data. When these channels work together, you gain a refined sense of where objects are located in space. This collaboration becomes especially important in environments where visibility changes rapidly, such as crowded rooms, dense forests, or dimly lit areas. Muscles around the eyes report the effort required to focus on different distances, while auditory circuits calculate how sound travels through the environment. Together, they help determine whether a sound originates from something close or far, moving or stationary, safe or threatening. This multisensory partnership allows you to navigate with confidence, even when one sense alone would provide incomplete information. The tear film nourishes and protects the eye in layers of incredible complexity. Covering the surface of the eye is a thin, delicate film composed of multiple layers, each serving vital functions. The outermost layer contains oils that slow evaporation and create a smooth optical surface. Beneath it lies a watery layer filled with nutrients, oxygen, and protective molecules that support the cornea. The innermost layer anchors the film to the eye, ensuring even distribution with every blink. This structure is renewed constantly, replenished by glands that respond to changes in humidity, irritation, and emotional state. The tear film cleans away debris, maintains clarity, and supports healing when the surface is disturbed. Without it, the cornea would dry, vision would blur, and infection would become far more likely. Though nearly invisible, this multi-layered shield demonstrates how even the thinnest features of the eye play essential roles in maintaining comfort and clarity throughout every waking moment. Some insects see a world refreshed many times faster than humans do. For creatures that zip through the air or dart across open fields, survival depends on noticing changes far more rapidly than a human ever could. Many insects experience visual updates at speeds that feel almost impossible to imagine. Their photoreceptors reset quickly, their neural circuits transmit signals with incredible haste, and their brains process motion in slices of time so fine that what appears smooth to a human becomes a rapid sequence of cabal. Distinct moments. A dragonfly weaving through a swarm of competitors perceives trajectories with clarity that lets it adjust its flight path in an instant. A fly escaping a swatting hand reacts not because it is lucky, but because the world to it unfolds in many more perceptual frames. This accelerated refresh rate means that danger, opportunity, and movement emerge earlier in their awareness, granting them a level of agility that astonishes researchers. Their high-speed perception does not merely sharpen their vision. It shapes an entirely different experience of reality. Human vision can be tricked into seeing motion that is not there. The brain builds motion from changing patterns of light rather than from motion itself, which means it can be persuaded to detect movement where none exists. When certain shapes alternate, the visual system interprets the sequence as shifting, sliding, or rotating. This occurs because the brain expects continuous flow and fills transitions with imagined progression. Even static images can inspire a sense of drift if their design manipulates brightness gradients or repeating contrasts. These illusions reveal the shortcuts used to create smooth perception. Instead of analyzing every tiny change in detail, the brain relies on predictions and pattern completion. When those expectations are nudged in specific ways, the result is a compelling but entirely fictional sense of motion. Such illusions highlight how perception is an active process shaped by assumptions, biological limits, and the brain's desire for coherent interpretation. The world you see is not only a product of external stimuli. It is a carefully crafted internal construction. The color green is perceived with extraordinary sensitivity through evolution. Across countless generations, Early humans relied on the ability to distinguish subtle variations in vegetation, fruit ripeness, and shaded environments. This shaped the development of exceptionally fine tuning within the visual system for the wavelengths associated with green. Cone cells respond strongly to this region of the spectrum, and neural circuits amplify these signals with remarkable precision. As a result, slight differences in foliage appear distinct, helping observers detect hidden animals, evaluate plant health, or navigate shaded landscapes. This heightened sensitivity remains deeply woven into modern perception. People often report that green feels restful or vividly present, partly because the eye and brain handle it with unusual efficiency. Even digital artists and designers rely on this biological preference, using green to create depth, contrast, and comfort. The forested environments of distant ancestors sculpted a perceptual legacy that still influences how the world appears today. Certain birds of prey can see small animals from heights that seem impossible. High above open fields, eagles and hawks circle with eyes capable of resolving details far beyond human ability. Their retinas hold exceptionally dense clusters of photoreceptors, and some species possess more than one foveal region for pinpoint accuracy at different viewing angles. Light entering these eyes is processed with exquisite precision, translating distant movements into unmistakable signals. A tiny rodent scurrying beneath leaves becomes visible even from dizzying altitudes because the bird's visual machinery extracts detail from minute contrasts and faint motions. The shape of their eyes, the strength of their focusing muscles, and the unique architecture of their retinas work together to create clarity unimaginable for most species. These adaptations allow birds of prey to hunt efficiently across vast territories. What appears to a human as a blur or a patch of landscape appears to them as a rich tapestry filled with meaningful signs. The eye has built-in immune privilege to protect its delicate structures. Inside the eye, tissues perform vital functions that would be threatened by excessive inflammation. To preserve clarity and prevent damage, the body maintains special immunological rules within this sensitive environment. Immune cells behave differently here, responding in controlled ways that reduce the risk of scarring or clouding. Chemical signals moderate inflammation, and barriers limit the movement of certain cells that might disrupt the transparent architecture. This protective strategy is known for its ability to safeguard vision, even when the body faces broader immune challenges. Although this system enhances safety, it also requires careful balance, because infections must still be managed without harming structures essential for sight. Researchers study this phenomenon to understand how the eye achieves such refined control. The existence of immune privilege underscores the profound importance of maintaining clarity in an organ so crucial to navigating the world. Your brain fills in missing details every time you blink. Each blink interrupts the flow of incoming light, yet you never perceive the world stutter or vanish. Instead, the brain stitches the moments together, smoothing interruptions so thoroughly that you remain unaware of them. This requires rapid prediction and reconstruction. Before your eyelids close, the brain gathers information about ongoing motion, color, and spatial layout. During the blink, it generates a provisional continuation of the scene, guided by context, expectation, and memory. When the eyes open again, the updated input merges seamlessly with this internal projection. The result is a sense of continuous vision, even though darkness briefly replaces the world many times each minute. This process highlights the extraordinary computational effort required to maintain stable perception. Every blink becomes a fleeting pause that the brain conceals through elegant and efficient interpretation. The pupil responds to thoughts and emotions as well as light. Although its primary function is to regulate incoming brightness, the pupil also reflects inner states. When the person becomes interested, surprised, or emotionally moved, small muscles within the iris respond to changes in neural activity that accompany these feelings. The opening may widen when attention intensifies or when cognitive effort increases. In social situations, pupils can shift in ways that subtly communicate engagement or attraction. These changes are not consciously controlled. They arise from deep connections between the visual system and the autonomic nervous system. Even imagined images or remembered scenes can trigger measurable responses. This interplay reveals that the eyes do more than gather light. They mirror the shifting patterns of thought and feeling that flow through the mind. Observers may not always notice these variations, yet they contribute to the unspoken language of human interaction. Some animals have rectangular pupils to enhance horizon awareness. Grazing animals such as sheep and goats possess pupils shaped in long horizontal bands that expand their field of view across wide landscapes. This geometry allows them to monitor potential threats approaching from many directions, while keeping focus on food close to the ground. The shape also maintains stable images during head movement because horizontal pupils reduce distortion along the horizon. When these animals lower their heads to feed, their eyes rotate to preserve alignment with the ground. This automatic rotation keeps their panoramic vision functional even while grazing. Predators, in contrast, often have vertically shaped pupils that sharpen depth perception during ambush. The rectangular pupil is a remarkable solution tailored to a life spent balancing feeding with vigilance. It offers a broad visual sweep that helps prey detect danger before it draws near. The retina contains cells that track daylight to regulate sleep. Among the many cells embedded within the retina are specialized light-sensitive units that do not contribute directly to vision. Instead, they monitor overall brightness and send signals to the brain areas that coordinate circadian rhythms. These cells respond strongly to blue-rich daylight and help regulate the internal clock that governs sleep, alertness, hormone release, and temperature cycles. When daylight fades, their reduced activity informs the brain that night is approaching. This triggers shifts that prepare the body for rest. Exposure to bright light at unexpected times can disrupt these cycles, revealing how sensitive the system is to environmental cues. The presence of these non-visual photoreceptors demonstrates that the eye participates in regulating much more than sight. It also anchors the rhythms that shape daily life. Humans can adapt to low light far more than most people realize. Although human night vision cannot match that of nocturnal animals, the visual system becomes dramatically more sensitive after extended time in darkness. Rod cells increase their responsiveness through chemical adjustments, allowing them to capture faint photons that would otherwise go unnoticed. The brain recalibrates its expectations by amplifying subtle contrasts and suppressing noise that might interfere with dim signals. With patience, details that first appear hidden begin to emerge, transforming a seemingly black environment into a scene filled with outlines and gentle shades. This adaptation takes time, often requiring many minutes of limited light exposure. Once achieved, it reveals an impressive capacity within the human eye that often goes unused in brightly illuminated environments. The ability to adjust so extensively reflects ancient survival needs in a world where artificial lighting did not exist. Some creatures use fluorescent patterns visible only under specific wavelengths. Across coral reefs, forest floors, and desert sands live animals whose bodies carry hidden markings that emerge only when illuminated by very specific wavelengths of light. These fluorescent signals are not simple reflections. They arise when specialized molecules absorb incoming photons and re-release them as light of a different color, often brighter and more vivid than anything seen in natural daylight. Many fish display glowing stripes or patches that guide communication in dim or murky water. Certain amphibians exhibit luminous markings that identify species or signal readiness for mating. Even some birds show fluorescent features that become visible under ultraviolet-rich sunlight. These displays allow animals to send messages that remain invisible to predators or competitors, lacking the necessary visual sensitivity. Fluorescent communication creates a kind of private language encoded in the physics of light. When researchers place these animals under the correct illumination, entire dimensions of their appearance spring to life, revealing social systems and survival behaviors that remain completely hidden under ordinary C conditions. What looks plain in one type of light becomes astonishingly vivid in another, showing how nature often reserves its brightest secrets for observers tuned to the right wavelengths. The eye maintains pressure with remarkable biological precision. Inside the eye, a clear fluid known as aqueous humor continuously circulates through chambers, delivering nutrients to tissues that lack blood vessels. For vision to remain sharp, the pressure created by this fluid must stay within a narrow range. If it becomes too low, the eye loses shape and light can no longer focus properly. If it becomes too high, delicate neural fibers risk permanent damage. To maintain equilibrium, the body regulates production and drainage with exquisite control. Tiny structures filter the fluid and release it through microscopic channels that adjust flow in response to environmental and physiological changes. This system responds to posture, hydration, stress, and even subtle facial movements, recalibrating moment by moment. The balance is so consistent that most people never notice the complexity required to maintain it. When something disrupts the mechanism, vision can change rapidly, showing how dependent sight is on this finely tuned internal pressure. The orchestration of fluid dynamics within such a small space highlights an extraordinary aspect of ocular engineering that operates silently throughout life. Some deep ocean fish have eyes larger than their entire heads. In the crushing darkness of the deep sea, certain species rely heavily on vision despite the near-total absence of sunlight. To gather every possible photon, some develop enormous eyes that dwarf the size of the skull. These oversized organs contain vast surfaces of photoreceptors designed to capture faint glimmers produced by bioluminescent creatures drifting through the water. The lenses in these eyes are often exceptionally wide, maximizing light intake, while the retinas carry layers of rods arranged to enhance sensitivity rather than detail. Because these fish inhabit depths where distances are difficult to judge, their vision favors detecting contrast and orientation rather than clear form. The massive size of the eye is an adaptation that would be impractical in brighter environments, but essential in a world where survival relies on recognizing faint silhouettes moving across the darkness. Observing these animals reveals how extreme environments push evolution to explore optical possibilities that seem almost surreal. Human color vision originated from Jean duplication in ancient primates. Millions of years ago, early primates possessed only two types of cone cells, limiting their ability to distinguish certain hues. A rare event occurred in which a gene responsible for one type of photopigment duplicated itself. Over time, mutations caused the copy to become sensitive to a slightly different range of wavelengths. This small change set the foundation for the rich color perception that modern humans experience. Having three cone types allowed individuals to differentiate ripe fruits, fresh leaves, and subtle environmental cues with far greater accuracy. This advantage influenced foraging behavior, social interaction, and habitat selection. As the system evolved, neural circuits adapted to handle increasingly complex comparisons among wavelengths. The result is a sensory palette capable of generating millions of distinct shades. The origin of this ability lies not in deliberate design, but in a single genetic accident that transformed primate vision and ultimately shaped how humans interact with the world. The visual cortex can rewire itself after injury with incredible plasticity. When areas of the brain that interpret sight become damaged, the surrounding regions often reorganize themselves to compensate. Neurons adjust their connections, strengthen alternative pathways, and sometimes assume functions once handled by the affected tissue. This plasticity is most pronounced during childhood but remains present throughout life. Individuals who lose vision early often show heightened sensitivity in hearing or touch because visual regions are repurposed to process other sensory inputs. Even in adults, therapy and training can help the visual cortex adapt after injury, restoring certain functions that once seemed lost. Researchers studying this phenomenon observe how neural architecture is not fixed but dynamic, shaped by experience and demand. The ability to reorganize underscores how perception depends on flexible networks rather than rigid structures. The brain does not simply receive visual information. It learns it continually, rebuilds it when necessary, and seeks new routes for interpretation when familiar ones fail. Some animals switch between lens vision and mirror vision during growth. A handful of aquatic creatures undergo developmental transformations that alter the very structure of their eyes. Juveniles may rely on conventional lenses that refract light for clear underwater vision. As they mature and move into deeper or differently lit environments, these lenses may be partially replaced by reflective surfaces that redirect light toward the retina. Mirror-based vision excels in environments where illumination arrives from unusual angles or where refracting lenses would struggle to gather enough light. By shifting from one optical strategy to another, these animals maintain visual efficiency across their changing habitats. The shift involves not only structural remodeling, but also adjustments in neural processing to interpret the different types of images produced. This transformation highlights how evolution tailors vision not only to species but sometimes to specific life stages, creating AIs that adapt as circumstances demand. Your visual world arrives in the brain delayed by a fraction of a moment. Although perception feels instantaneous, it requires time for light to reach the retina, generate electrical signals, and travel through complex pathways into the brain. Additional processing must occur before you become consciously aware of what you see. This creates a tiny delay that would make the world appear slightly outdated if the brain did not compensate. Instead, the brain uses predictive mechanisms to estimate what should be happening at the present moment, blending expectations with incoming signals. This predictive strategy smooths motion, stabilizes the environment, and helps align perception with reality despite the lag. Most of the time, the system works flawlessly, but certain illusions reveal the presence of this delay by tricking the brain into misjudging timing. The constant effort to correct for latency shows how deeply perception relies on timing, expectation, and finely tuned neural coordination. Butterflies can see spectral patterns hidden from human eyes. Many butterfly species perceive ultraviolet light and respond to patterns that remain invisible to human observers. Wings that appear as simple colors contain elaborate ultraviolet maps that signal species identity, mating readiness, and territorial boundaries. When butterflies encounter one another, these hidden patterns guide behavior, helping individuals choose appropriate partners or avoid rivals. Flowers also display ultraviolet markings that direct butterflies to nectar sources, creating a mutually beneficial communication channel. The visual system of these insects contains specialized photoreceptors capable of distinguishing subtle differences within the ultraviolet range. As a result, their world is filled with contrasts and cues that humans cannot experience directly. The interplay between ultraviolet sensitive vision and the colorful patterns of nature demonstrates a level of ecological coordination that unfolds just beyond human sight. The human eye has photoreceptors that each follow their own biological rhythms. Within the retina, every photoreceptor engages in daily cycles of renewal and repair. These rhythms align with overall circadian patterns, but also maintain internal schedules unique to their function. Throughout the day, photoreceptors adjust their sensitivity, rebuild molecular components, and regulate chemical balance to handle the continuous flow of light. During sleep, they undergo deeper restoration that prepares them for the next day's visual demands. These rhythms ensure that the retina maintains clarity and responsiveness despite constant exposure to environmental stress. When these cycles become disrupted, visual fatigue or reduced sensitivity can occur. The presence of such individual timing mechanisms highlights the sophistication of even the smallest units within the eye. Each photoreceptor behaves as a tiny biological workshop, maintaining its function through predictable cycles of activity. Some spiders have 8 eyes, each serving a distinct function. Spiders often rely on multiple eyes arranged in patterns that vary widely among species. Instead of providing redundant images, each eye type contributes specific information. Some detect motion, others judge distance, and still others provide detailed forward-facing vision. The combination allows spiders to hunt, navigate webs, and avoid predators with remarkable precision. Jumping spiders possess especially advanced central eyes that offer sharp resolution for stalking prey, while their secondary eyes monitor movement from behind or above. The diversity of visual roles reflects the complex lifestyles of these creatures. Their eyes must operate efficiently in dim crevices, bright daylight, and rapidly shifting terrain. Through this distributed visual system, spiders gain a comprehensive awareness of their surroundings that would be difficult to achieve with a single type of eye. Humans possess cells that naturally detect the presence of blue light. Embedded within the retina is a rare class of cells that do not participate in forming images, yet respond strongly to blue-enriched wavelengths. These cells contain a light-sensitive molecule that triggers activity when daylight reaches certain intensities. Their purpose is not to help you see shapes or colors, but to keep your internal clock aligned with the environment. When morning light strikes them, they send signals to the brain centers that regulate alertness, hormone release, and timing of sleep. These signals help determine when you feel awake, when you feel drowsy, and how your metabolism adapts to daily cycles. Even on cloudy days, these cells remain responsive because scattered blue light can still activate them. When people spend long periods indoors under lighting that lacks sufficient blue wavelengths, these rhythms can drift, leading to fatigue or disrupted sleep patterns. Their discovery revealed that the eye plays a far greater role in whole body health than previously understood. These specialized cells act as guardians of temporal balance, linking the external sky to the inner workings of physiology. Some birds can see magnetic fields through quantum processes. In the eyes of certain migratory birds lies a remarkable protein that reacts to the Earth's magnetic field in ways that intertwine physics and biology. When specific wavelengths of light strike this molecule, it forms paired particles whose behavior changes depending on the orientation of the magnetic field. These changes influence signaling within the retina, creating faint visual patterns that overlay the normal image of the world. Birds appear to perceive these magnetic cues as shifting gradients or shapes that help them orient during long journeys across continents. The effect relies on quantum interactions that persist just long enough to be biologically useful, a delicate balancing act between physical laws and cellular function. Migratory species navigate with astonishing accuracy, crossing oceans and mountain ranges using this built-in compass. To them, direction is not a guess. It is a faint but reliable aspect of the visual scene. This blending of quantum sensitivity and living tissue reveals one of nature's most extraordinary sensory adaptations. The retina communicates with the brain through millions of signals every second. Each moment of sight begins with a vast flow of electrical activity traveling from the retina through the optic nerve toward deeper regions of the brain. Photoreceptors generate initial impulses but layers of interneurons refine and reorganize them into patterns representing edges, motion, brightness shifts, and subtle contrasts. This network does not send a simple picture. It sends a torrent of coded information that describes relationships among elements within the scene. Millions of signals travel each second, forming streams that the brain must decode rapidly enough to keep up with changes in the environment. These signals pass through branching pathways that distribute visual information to regions responsible for recognition, attention, planning, and emotional response. Even small disruptions to this flow can alter perception dramatically. The retina acts as a frontline processor, reducing a flood of photons into meaningful electrical rhythms that support everything from reading to recognizing a familiar face. The sheer speed and complexity of this communication highlight the immense coordination required for each instant of sight. Your eyes continually balance light intake with microscopic muscle movements. Behind every effortless glance is the coordinated action of tiny muscles regulating how much light enters the eye and how sharply images come into focus. The iris tightens or relaxes to control pupil size, narrowing in bright environments and widening when illumination fades. At the same time, muscles encircling the lens adjust its curvature to maintain clarity across different distances. These adjustments must occur with precision measured in fractions of a moment. Even slight delays could blur the world or overwhelm sensitive retinal tissue. Additional micro-adjustments stabilize the eyes against small head movements, keeping the visual scene sharp as you walk, breathe, or gesture. All of these actions blend into a seamless experience that feels effortless despite being driven by continuous muscular activity. The steadiness of the world you see depends on these near-constant calibrations. They operate quietly, completing thousands of corrections every minute without entering conscious awareness. Some desert animals have built-in sand filters within their eyes. Life in shifting dunes requires eyes that can withstand abrasive particles carried by hot, relentless winds. Certain desert-dwelling species have evolved protective structures that function like natural filtration systems. Some reptiles possess translucent coverings that allow vision while blocking fine grains of sand. Camels rely on a combination of long lashes, specialized lids, and internal folds that trap particles before they reach the sensitive cornea. These mechanisms not only shield the eye, but also maintain moisture in extremely dry conditions. The design often includes tear ducts that flush irritants away with remarkable efficiency. In environments where storms can erupt without warning, these adaptations prevent damage that could compromise survival. The animals move confidently across landscapes that would quickly injure unprotected eyes. Their visual systems embody the ingenuity of evolution shaped by harsh climates. Human night vision relies on rod cells that are exceptionally sensitive. When daylight fades, the responsibility for vision shifts from cone cells to rods, which specialize in detecting low levels of illumination. Each rod contains a pigment that responds to faint photons, making it possible to perceive shapes and movement in dim environments. As minutes pass in darkness, chemical changes within the rods increase their sensitivity, gradually revealing details that were previously invisible. Rod-based vision does not provide color, but it excels at detecting contrast and motion. This ability once helped early humans avoid predators and navigate nighttime landscapes. Even today, patience in low light reveals how dramatically the visual system can adapt. After sufficient time, the night becomes less a void and more a landscape filled with gentle outlines. The extraordinary sensitivity of rod cells ensures that humans retain a meaningful connection to the world even when light is scarce. Some aquatic animals can change the shape of their lenses instantly. Creatures living in water often encounter rapid transitions between murky depths, bright shallows, and reflective surfaces. To maintain clarity across these conditions, Some species adjust the curvature of their lenses far more dynamically than humans can. Instead of relying on subtle muscular tension, these animals reshape their entire lens structure, shifting focus from far to near with striking speed. This rapid adjustment allows them to track prey, navigate cluttered environments, and compensate for distortions caused by the refracting properties of water. Their lens fibers are arranged to retain transparency while allowing flexible movement. Neural circuits coordinate these changes to ensure that the right focal length is achieved at the exact moment it is needed. This system exemplifies how visual organs can become finely tuned instruments in response to demanding ecological conditions. The eye and brain work together to create the perception of color. Color is not a property that exists fully formed in light itself. It emerges when photoreceptors send wavelength-dependent signals that the brain interprets through complex comparisons. Three main types of cone cells respond to overlapping ranges of wavelengths. The brain examines the ratios of their activity to infer hues and brightness. This interpretation also depends on surrounding colors, context, and expectations, which means the same wavelengths can appear different depending on the scene. Neural pathways refine these comparisons to produce the vivid palette experienced in daily life. Without the brain's contribution, the world would appear as raw variations in intensity, rather than the rich array of colors that shape memory and emotion. The creation of color perception is a partnership between biological hardware and neural computation, a synthesis that transforms physical light into meaningful sensation. Some animals see a wider range of contrast than any human screen can display. Certain species possess retinas capable of handling dramatic differences in brightness without losing detail in either dark or light regions. Their photoreceptors and neural circuits manage extreme contrasts by adjusting sensitivity locally rather than globally. This allows them to see into shadows while still observing details in bright sunlight. Species that live in mountainous regions, open plains, or reflective water surfaces often require this expanded contrast range to avoid predators, locate food, or navigate varied terrain. In comparison, human screens simulate a limited fraction of the contrasts found in nature. These animals experience a world filled with nuance that remains hidden to humans because standard visual technology cannot replicate the full range. Their sensitivity gives them access to patterns that blend into uniform fields for other species, allowing them to interpret complex landscapes with remarkable accuracy. Humans experience afterimages because photoreceptors need time to reset. When you stare at a brightly colored object and then shift your gaze to a neutral surface, a faint, ghostly shape often appears in complementary colors. This occurs because photoreceptors that were heavily stimulated take time to return to their baseline state. During this recovery period, the balance between signals in different photoreceptor groups shifts, producing the illusion of a lingering image. The effect highlights the biochemical processes underlying vision. Each photoreceptor relies on molecules that change shape when exposed to light and must revert to their original form before responding normally again. Afterimages reveal the hidden rhythms of these molecular cycles and demonstrate that perception does not end the moment you look away. Instead, it fades gradually as the visual system recalibrates itself. Some shrimp species generate light to enhance their vision. In the dim blue world of deeper waters, certain shrimp rely on an astonishing adaptation. They produce their own bursts of light using chemical reactions that release brief flashes into the surrounding water. These flashes do not simply illuminate the darkness. They enhance contrast in ways that reveal shapes or movements that would otherwise blend into the background. Some species release tiny clouds of glowing particles that drift for a moment before fading, creating a temporary backdrop that outlines hidden prey. Others shine faint glimmers across the seafloor so that reflective organisms stand out with greater clarity. Their eyes are tuned to these specific wavelengths, allowing them to use their own light as a form of private illumination. This tactic benefits them in hunting, navigating uneven terrain, and communicating with individuals that share similar visual sensitivity. In a realm where sunlight cannot reach, creating light becomes a way to carve meaning out of the dark. These shrimp demonstrate how vision can extend far beyond passive perception, becoming an active process of shaping the environment to reveal its secrets. The retina converts light into electricity through quantum-level events. Inside each photoreceptor, a single molecule waits to catch a photon whose arrival triggers a transformation at the smallest scales of physical reality. When that photon is absorbed, the molecule changes shape in a process that begins faster than most chemical reactions known in biology. This shift initiates a cascading series of biochemical events that amplify the tiny signal into an electrical impulse strong enough to travel through the retina. The entire process depends on quantum interactions that determine how and when the molecule responds. Even slight variations in energy can alter the efficiency of the reaction, revealing how perception arises from events that operate at the boundary between physics and biology. Millions of these reactions occur every second as the retina gathers incoming light and converts it into patterns of electrical activity. The transformation from photon to neural signal is one of the most elegant feats of the visual system, turning the intangible nature of light into something the brain can interpret. Your eyes often notice danger faster than conscious thought can. When something unexpected moves at the edge of vision, the eyes and early visual pathways react before the conscious mind identifies what occurred. This early warning system relies on rapid circuits that prioritize motion, contrast shifts, and looming shapes. These signals travel through neural routes designed for speed, reaching areas responsible for reflexive responses long before higher cognitive centers become aware of the details. This allows the body to begin preparing for action even while the mind lags behind. A sudden darkening of the sky, a falling object, or a fast-moving figure can activate this pathway instantly. The purpose is not to interpret the scene, but to alert the system that something requires attention. Once awareness catches up, more detailed analysis takes place. This built-in vigilance reflects an ancient survival strategy that protected early humans in unpredictable landscapes. Even today, it plays a quiet role in daily life, reminding us that perception begins with sensation long before interpretation. Some mountain goats have panoramic vision for cliffside navigation. High mountain cliffs present an unforgiving environment where a single misstep can lead to disaster. Mountain goats that ascend these steep terrains rely on eyes positioned to provide a broad and reliable view of the world around them. Their visual fields overlap in a way that reduces blind spots and allows them to track the position of ledges, loose rocks, and approaching predators. The shape of their pupils and the arrangement of their retinas give them remarkable sensitivity to edges and changes in terrain. Even while moving quickly across narrow ridges, they can detect subtle shifts in texture that indicate safe footing. This panoramic awareness allows them to judge distances with impressive accuracy in environments where depth cues are sparse and lighting conditions vary rapidly. Their visual system is not designed for fine detail, but for stability, spatial awareness, and constant monitoring of the environment. It is a sensory adaptation perfectly matched to a life lived on the edges of sheer cliffs. Vision emerges from a dance between light and neural firing. Every moment of sight begins with the arrival of light, but ends with intricate patterns of neural activity that give the world its shape and meaning. Light itself carries no interpretation. It arrives as raw energy that must be captured, organized, and transformed by countless cells within the eye and brain. Photoreceptors initiate the process, but the true construction of vision happens through the layered firing of interconnected neurons. Some respond to direction, others to edges, and still others to subtle contrasts or color relationships. These signals interact, reinforce one another, or cancel each other out until a coherent picture forms. Even then, the brain continues refining the image by adding memory, expectation, and emotional tone. The world you perceive is not merely a record of what light delivers. It is an active creation, shaped by biological rhythms and cognitive interpretation. This continuous interplay turns physical illumination into a living experience. Some animals have pupils that constrict into pinpoint stars. Certain species, such as cuttlefish and geckos, have pupils capable of forming intricate shapes that appear as narrow slits, crescents, or star-like patterns depending on light levels. These unusual configurations provide advantages that ordinary round pupils cannot achieve. Star-shaped pupils can reduce chromatic blur by limiting light to specific areas of the lens, improving image sharpness under harsh illumination. Some shapes also help animals judge distance more accurately in uneven environments by providing multiple depth cues simultaneously. When light levels shift, these pupils morph smoothly into new configurations that optimize visibility without exposing sensitive retinal tissue to excessive brightness. These transformations are controlled by finely tuned muscles that respond quickly to changes in ambient conditions. The diversity of pupil shapes demonstrates how vision can evolve into remarkable forms matched to the specific challenges of different habitats. The human eye can detect changes in light too subtle for many instruments. Despite its compact structure, the human eye remains one of the most sensitive light-detecting organs among living species. Under controlled conditions, it can perceive minute fluctuations in brightness that many artificial sensors struggle to register. Photoreceptors respond to small changes in photon arrival rates, and neural circuits amplify these signals without overwhelming them with noise. When observing faint celestial objects or delicate shadows, the eye performs at a level that surprises even experienced researchers. This sensitivity arises from a combination of optical clarity, biochemical precision, and advanced neural computation. While technology has surpassed the eye in many specialized tasks, there remain domains in which biological sensitivity still excels. The living visual system maintains adaptability and nuance that machines continue to struggle with, especially when interpreting wide dynamic ranges or subtle gradients. Some insects have golden reflective layers that shape their vision. In the eyes of certain insects, shimmering golden layers lie behind the photoreceptors, creating a reflective surface that enhances the capture of light. These structures are composed of crystalline materials arranged to reflect specific wavelengths, giving the insects a distinctive sheen when illuminated. The reflected light passes back through the photoreceptors, increasing sensitivity in dim environments, while also filtering certain colors. This arrangement allows insects to navigate twilight habitats, read subtle patterns on vegetation, and detect prey or mates in conditions that might appear nearly dark to humans. The golden glow found in these eyes is more than decorative. It is a functional adaptation that fine-tunes visual perception to the needs of species that rely on precision in low light. When studied under magnification, the reflective layers reveal a highly organized microstructure that resembles a crafted optical device more than a simple biological surface. The visual system learns throughout life, creating a personal reality. From early childhood onward, the visual system adapts to experience, refining its interpretation of shape, color, and depth based on the environment and cultural context. Neural pathways strengthen or weaken depending on how often certain patterns appear. As a result, Individuals raised in dense forests perceive spatial relationships differently from those raised in open plains or urban landscapes. The brain continually updates its expectations, shaping how new scenes are interpreted. This learning extends into adulthood, allowing people to adjust to new regions, lighting conditions, or visual tasks. Even activities such as reading, drawing, or learning new skills modify the way neurons respond to visual input. This lifelong adaptability creates a personal version of reality, unique to each individual. No two people see the world in precisely the same way because their visual histories differ. The system is not static. It evolves alongside experience. Some amphibians use multiple types of rod cells for extraordinary dark vision. Certain amphibians active in dim forests or shallow night-lit waters possess more than one variety of rod cell. Each type responds optimally to different ranges of low illumination, allowing the animals to perceive contrast across varied nighttime conditions. One type may excel at extremely faint starlight, while another functions best under the soft glow of moonlight or scattered reflections on wet leaves. Together, these specialized rods create a layered perception that surpasses the night vision capabilities of many other vertebrates. Their eyes maintain sensitivity without sacrificing contrast, enabling them to detect predators, prey, and terrain with impressive clarity. This multi-rod system represents a finely tuned adaptation shaped by environments where light levels shift unpredictably. Through these overlapping sensory channels, amphibians navigate a world that appears nearly invisible to most species. The optical nerve carries more information than many digital cameras. Running from the back of each eye is a thick bundle of neural fibers that transmit an immense stream of signals every second. This optic nerve carries refined information that has already been shaped by layers of retinal processing, allowing the brain to receive structured patterns rather than raw data. The total volume of information flowing through this pathway rivals and often exceeds that of advanced imaging devices. Each fiber relays distinct aspects of the scene such as brightness transitions, motion direction, and localized contrast, all of which must reach the visual cortex with extraordinary speed. The optic nerve accomplishes this while maintaining precise timing, so that signals arrive in the correct sequence for interpretation. Even slight disruptions to the nerve can transform sight dramatically, underscoring how vital this communication channel is. As a living biological cable, it handles a level of complexity that modern technology continues to struggle to match, translating the language of light into electrical rhythms that the brain turns into meaningful bowel. Perception. Humans interpreting faces engage unique visual pathways. When you look at a human face, specialized networks become active that do not respond in the same way to objects, landscapes, or text. These pathways rapidly evaluate subtle differences in expression, gaze direction, and emotional tone. They operate with such efficiency that recognizing a familiar face requires only fractions of a moment. Even slight shifts in muscle tension or eyebrow angle produce patterns these circuits decode instantly. The system develops early in life and becomes more refined through social experience, forming an essential component of human communication. When damaged, individuals may struggle to recognize faces despite having otherwise normal vision, revealing how distinct these pathways are from general object recognition. This specialization supports empathy, bonding, and social navigation, making facial interpretation one of the most deeply integrated visual abilities humans possess. These circuits reveal that seeing a face is not merely an act of vision, but an act of understanding. Some fish have eyes that change color with mood and environment. In many aquatic species, eye coloration shifts in response to social interaction, stress, or ambient light. These changes occur through cells containing movable pigment granules that spread or condense depending on internal chemical signals. When a fish feels threatened, its eye color may darken, presenting a more intimidating appearance. During courtship, the eyes may brighten or reveal hidden hues that attract potential mates. Environmental factors can trigger changes as well. In dim or murky water, some fish adjust eye pigmentation to increase contrast and reduce glare. These transformations take place smoothly, often within moments, allowing the animal to communicate or adapt visually without altering the rest of its body. Such dynamic color shifts reveal a complex relationship between physiology, behavior, and light. They form an expressive visual language in underwater environments where subtlety often determines survival. The eye contains pigments that absorb harmful light frequencies. Within the layers of the eye lie natural pigments that serve as protective filters, absorbing wavelengths capable of damaging delicate tissues. These pigments reduce the impact of high-energy light, especially from the ultraviolet range, which can harm photoreceptors and degrade structural proteins over time. By absorbing these potentially harmful frequencies before they reach the retina, the pigments act as a built-in shield that preserves clarity and function. Their presence also improves visual comfort by moderating glare and reducing scatter. The density of these pigments varies with age, genetics, and exposure to certain environments. This biological defense mechanism demonstrates how the eye balances the need for high-quality vision with the need to guard against environmental hazards. It is a sophisticated barrier silently working every moment you look out at the world. Some creatures can rotate their eyes almost completely around. Animals such as chameleons, frogs, and certain birds possess the ability to move their eyes in arcs far beyond the range of human movement. These rotations provide nearly panoramic awareness without requiring the body to shift position. Muscles surrounding the eyes are arranged to allow impressive flexibility, giving the animal the ability to monitor multiple directions at once. For predators, this mobility aids in tracking prey even during rapid movements. For prey animals, it offers crucial surveillance against approaching danger. In some species, the rotation is so extensive that each eye can independently survey its surroundings with minimal blind spots. This adaptation enhances efficiency in habitats where visibility determines survival and demonstrates how dramatic differences in one mobility can shape the behavior and capabilities of an animal. Their expansive field of view becomes a living shield against the unpredictable world. Human eyes perceive depth through a blend of cues beyond stereovision. Although the slight difference between the views of each eye provides important information about distance, depth perception relies on many additional cues. The brain evaluates relative size, overlap of objects, texture gradients, and even atmospheric haze to judge spatial relationships. Motion adds further clarity as objects shift at different speeds depending on their distance during head movement. These cues interact constantly, allowing depth perception to remain functional even when one eye is closed. The brain merges these signals into a unified sense of space that guides movement, balance, and interaction with the environment. This layered approach reveals that depth perception is not a single mechanism but a symphony of coordinated inputs. It transforms flat patterns of light into a vivid three-dimensional world. Some birds control each eye independently while flying. Species such as certain songbirds and parrots can direct attention through each eye separately, monitoring different aspects of their surroundings while navigating through complex airspaces. One eye may track a companion or potential predator, while the other focuses on obstacles or landing surfaces. Their brains process these streams simultaneously, without merging them into a single unified image. This independent control helps birds maintain awareness during high-speed flight, avoid collisions, and navigate dense foliage. It reflects structural differences in the visual pathways that give each hemisphere of the brain greater autonomy. The result is a remarkable ability to divide attention without losing precision or balance. This capability contributes to the extraordinary agility seen in many bird species and demonstrates that vision can be far more flexible than human perception suggests. Humans see patterns even when none exist because of evolutionary bias. The visual system is predisposed to detect meaningful shapes even when presented with randomness. This bias once served as an advantage by helping early humans identify predators, interpret footprints, or recognize signs of danger in uncertain environments. When the brain encounters ambiguous stimuli, it tends to impose structure, producing illusions of faces in clouds, figures in shadows, or signals within random textures. This tendency reveals how perception favors caution and pattern recognition over strict neutrality. Although it occasionally leads to false conclusions, it offers a survival benefit by prompting attention to possible threats or opportunities. These instinctive interpretations remain active today, shaping how people perceive art, landscapes, and even everyday objects. Pattern seeking is not a flaw. It is an ancient protective instinct, woven into vision itself. Some marine creatures see far into the blue where sunlight fades. In the deepening layers of the ocean, only the shortest wavelengths remain. Many marine animals have retinas specialized to detect these faint blue frequencies with remarkable efficiency. Their photoreceptors often contain pigments tuned specifically for the light that travels deepest through seawater. This sensitivity allows them to identify prey, predators, and mates in environments too dim for human vision. Some species combine this ability with reflective structures that amplify scant light, creating a visual system perfectly adapted for the blue-dominated depths. Their world is one of subtle gradients, glowing bioluminescent trails, and delicate shadows that appear invisible to creatures adapted to land-based environments. These adaptations turn twilight into a readable landscape, rich with cues and meaning for the animals that navigate it. The eye turns photons into meaning through cascading neural pathways. When light reaches the eye, it initiates a series of transformations that extend far beyond the retina. Photoreceptors convert photons into electrical signals, which pass through a network of retinal neurons that enhance edges, detect motion, and refine contrast. These signals travel along the optic nerve to multiple brain regions, each responsible for specific aspects of interpretation. One area identifies shapes, another evaluates spatial relationships, and yet another deciphers color and brightness. Higher centers integrate memory and emotion, adding context that shapes the final perception. The journey from raw light to meaningful experience requires countless interactions among neurons, each contributing to the construction of the visual world. Through this intricate sequence, the eye and brain work together to turn intangible energy into lived reality. Some monkeys communicate through subtle eye color shifts. In several primate species, the AIs serve as far more than tools for sight. They act as expressive organs capable of shifting hue in response to emotional and social states. These changes arise from the movement of pigments within the iris or from increased blood flow that subtly alters coloration around the eye. When dominance is asserted, the eyes may take on a deeper or more intense shade. During moments of curiosity or submission, the color can soften or brighten. Individuals within the group learn to interpret these minute variations as signals that guide cooperation, warn of conflict, or strengthen bonds. Unlike dramatic body postures or vocal calls, these ocular shifts offer quiet communication that can occur even during close grooming or relaxed foraging. They allow monkeys to share information without attracting attention from predators or rival groups. Researchers observing these species often note how consistently individuals respond to changes in eye hue, suggesting a shared visual language encoded in color rather than sound. These subtle displays highlight the rich emotional lives of primates and the refined visual abilities required to interpret such delicate cues. Your eyes synchronize with the body clock to regulate health. Every morning, light entering the eyes initiates a cascade of biological signals that help reset the internal clock governing sleep, appetite, mood, and temperature. Specialized photoreceptive cells in the retina detect the overall brightness of the environment and transmit this information to regions deep within the brain that coordinate circadian rhythms. These signals help determine when hormones such as melatonin rise or fall, influencing when you feel alert or drowsy. The timing of these cues plays an essential role in maintaining metabolic balance, immune function, and emotional stability. When light exposure occurs at unusual hours or becomes inconsistent, the body clock can drift, leading to fatigue, restlessness, or disrupted sleep cycles. Even the quality of light matters, as different wavelengths carry varying effects on these regulatory pathways. Through this connection, the eyes perform a critical role that extends far beyond visual perception. They act as guardians of daily rhythm, interpreting the sky and translating its patterns into physiological harmony. Some creatures develop new eyes during metamorphosis. Insects such as butterflies and certain amphibians undergo transformations so profound that their sensory systems must be rebuilt entirely. During metamorphosis, the larval eyes that guided the organism through its early life may no longer suit the needs of the adult form. As tissues reorganize within protective cocoons or hidden resting phases, clusters of undifferentiated cells begin the complex process of forming new eyes. These adult eyes typically possess far greater resolution, color sensitivity, or spatial awareness than the simple organs of the juvenile stage. They support navigation through open air, recognition of mates, and the identification of flowers or prey. The transition from one visual world to another often happens in darkness, guided by developmental signals that shape the architecture of lenses, pigments, and neural pathways. When the adult emerges, it encounters light not with the eyes of its past, but with entirely new organs crafted for a different lifestyle. This remarkable rebuilding demonstrates the adaptability of visual systems and the dramatic shifts in perception that accompany life's major transformations. Human eyes track micro-expressions without conscious awareness. The human brain pays close attention to fleeting changes in facial expression, even when these changes occur too quickly for conscious recognition. Micro-expressions last only fractions of a moment, yet the eyes capture these rapid shifts and relay them to neural circuits dedicated to social understanding. These tiny movements in a person's eyebrows, mouth, or eyelids reveal emotions that may be concealed or only partially expressed. While you may not consciously notice them, your visual system registers these cues and influences your reactions, shaping feelings of trust, caution, comfort, or suspicion. This ability allows humans to navigate complex social environments by detecting intentions and emotions that words may hide. Researchers studying interpersonal communication often find that people respond strongly to micro-expressions without knowing why, guided by deep subconscious processing. The eyes function as precise instruments in this exchange, providing input that supports empathy and the nuanced interpretation of human behavior. Some deep forest animals see in shades we cannot name. In the shadowed depths of dense forests, where sunlight filters through leaves in fragmented patterns, certain animals rely on visual systems adapted to perceive spectral qualities far beyond the human palate. Their photoreceptors respond to wavelengths that blend into indistinguishable tones for people, allowing them to differentiate among plants, track camouflaged prey, or recognize members of their own species with color. clarity unavailable to human observers. These animals encounter a world painted with hues that lack equivalents in human experience. Subtle distinctions between mosses, fungi, and foliage emerge clearly to them, creating a visual landscape rich with information. This expanded perception helps them navigate environments where survival depends on detecting hidden details among layers of vegetation. Their ability to see colors unknown to humans serves as a reminder that our sensory world is only one version of reality. Countless others exist just beyond the limits of human biology. The eye uses multiple focusing systems working in unison. To maintain clear vision at different distances, the eye relies on more than the changing shape of the lens. Fine focusing also depends on coordinated movements of the muscles around the eye, subtle shifts in pupil size, and adjustments to the curvature of the cornea. These systems operate together, refining image sharpness with remarkable speed and precision. When shifting focus from a nearby object to something far away, the brain orchestrates these actions through tightly integrated neural pathways. Each component contributes small but essential corrections, ensuring that the incoming light converges correctly on the retina. This coordination allows humans to read, recognize faces, and explore landscapes without conscious effort. The seamless blending of mechanical and neurological adjustments demonstrates the sophistication of visual processing. It transforms the act of focusing from a simple mechanical change into a complex interplay of biological systems working together in perfect timing. Some animals see behind themselves without turning their heads. Species such as certain birds, fish, and insects possess eye placements that grant them an exceptionally wide field of view, often extending into regions humans would consider behind the body. Their eyes may sit high on the head or far to the sides, capturing visual information across sweeping arcs. This ability allows prey animals to spot predators approaching from unexpected angles, giving them crucial seconds to react. For birds that fly in flocks, this expansive vision helps maintain formation and avoid collisions. In some insects, compound eyes composed of numerous individual lenses provide coverage exceeding human peripheral vision by a dramatic margin. These adaptations make their world one of constant awareness, where threats and opportunities emerge from all directions. Their unique visual geometry offers insights into how different evolutionary pressures shape the distribution of sensory information. Human eyes can detect patterns hidden within randomness. When presented with noise, static, or chaotic visual input, the human brain instinctively searches for structure. This tendency stems from deep evolutionary roots, where recognizing patterns in leaves, footprints, or shadows could mean discovering food, hiding places, or danger. Even in modern life, people interpret shapes in abstract textures, faces in clouds, or symbols in accidental arrangements. The eyes gather raw information, and the brain applies expectations developed through experience, memory, and biological predispositions. This ability helps with tasks such as reading distressed environments, navigating unpredictable terrain, and solving problems that require intuition about incomplete information. Although this skill can sometimes lead to false positives, it reveals a fundamental feature of human perception. We are built to find meaning, even when meaning is only loosely suggested by the visual world. Some creatures use bioelectric vision to sense their surroundings. In murky rivers and cloudy coastal waters, vision based solely on light becomes unreliable. To overcome this challenge, certain species, such as electric fish, generate weak electrical fields that permeate the water around them. When objects or organisms enter these fields, they alter the distribution of electrical currents in measurable ways. Specialized receptors in the skin detect these changes and convey them to the brain as a form of spatial information. Instead of relying on reflected light, these animals read the world through distortions in electricity, allowing them to identify shapes, textures, and movements, even in complete darkness. This sensory system forms a type of vision that extends beyond the traditional boundaries of light-based perception. It provides a continuous awareness of the environment, enabling precise navigation and communication in conditions where human vision would fail entirely. The eye forms a map of the world using many layers of processing. From the moment photons strike the retina, the visual system begins constructing a detailed representation of the environment. Different types of cells detect edges, motion, orientation, and brightness, each contributing a piece to the developing map. These signals travel through separate channels that remain distinct until they reach the brain, where integration transforms them into a cohesive interpretation. The map created is not a perfect copy of the external world, but a meaningful reconstruction, optimized for survival and comprehension. It highlights important features, suppresses irrelevant details, and aligns new information with memories and expectations. This dynamic process continues constantly, updating the internal representation as scenes shift and attention moves. The resulting map becomes the foundation for movement, decision-making, and understanding, demonstrating how sight is a blend of sensation and cognition woven together moment by moment. Some birds can adjust their vision for high-speed dives. Predatory birds that plunge from the sky at astonishing velocities rely on eyes engineered to remain stable, clear, and sharply focused, even as air pressure and wind force rise around them. During these dives, specialized muscles adjust the curvature of the lens in an instant, maintaining clarity across shifting distances. Additional structures strengthen the shape of the eye, so it does not deform under intense aerodynamic pressure. Some species possess bony rings around the eye that provide reinforcement, preventing distortion that would blur the scene during rapid descent. Their retinas contain densely packed photoreceptors that allow them to detect small animals far below, even as the landscape rushes upward. The nictitating membrane, a transparent protective layer, sweeps across the surface of the eye to clear debris while preserving vision. These features combine to create a visual system perfectly tuned for high-speed accuracy. What appears to humans as a blur of movement becomes a detailed and stable view for these birds, enabling precise strikes that depend entirely on superior optical control during extreme motion. Humans rely on visual illusions to make sense of a chaotic world. The visual system constantly confronts ambiguous information. Lighting variations, overlapping objects, and shifting motion create scenes that the eyes alone cannot fully decode. To interpret these situations quickly enough for daily life, the brain applies rules and shortcuts that have proven useful through experience. These shortcuts often create illusions that reveal how perception works behind the scenes. Straight lines appear curved, identical colors look different, or still images seem to shimmer because the brain imposes assumptions about shadow, depth, or movement. These illusions are not failures, but demonstrations of the strategies used to simplify complexity. Without them, interpreting every visual detail would require far more time and effort than the brain could spare. Illusions expose the balance between accuracy and efficiency, showing that perception is not a direct recording of the world. It is a constructed interpretation shaped by biological constraints, learned expectations, and evolutionary priorities. Some animals can see two different worlds of color based on lighting. In certain species, the photoreceptors behave differently depending on the light conditions, creating two distinct color worlds that emerge at different times of day. In bright sunlight, these animals use one set of receptors that reveal a rich palette suited for foraging or social interaction. When twilight arrives and illumination dims, another set of photoreceptors becomes active, shifting color perception to a range better suited for nocturnal navigation. This dual-mode system allows them to interpret their environment with precision, whether bathed in daylight or immersed in dusk. Some fish, for example, perceive vibrant patterns among coral reefs in full sun, but switch to a palette dominated by subtle contrasts in dimmer water. Their brains adapt quickly to the change, altering the interpretation of incoming signals so that each world appears coherent. This flexible perception demonstrates how vision can be tailored to environments where lighting conditions shift dramatically and unpredictably. The eye can perceive texture through subtle light gradients. Even when an object lacks clear edges or contrasting colors, the human visual system can detect texture based on tiny variations in how light scatters across its surface. These gradients reveal information about smoothness, roughness, curvature, and material composition. Photoreceptors respond to slight changes in brightness that correspond to microscopic differences in elevation or pattern. The brain interprets these variations by combining signals from multiple regions of the retina, recreating a tactile sense through purely visual means. This ability allows people to distinguish between surfaces such as polished stone, woven fabric, or coarse bark even from a distance. It supports navigation by helping detect uneven ground or shifting terrain. The perception of texture relies on finely tuned sensitivity that transforms small fluctuations in light into meaningful information about the physical world. Some creatures possess transparent eyelids for continuous protection. Animals such as certain reptiles, amphibians, and birds have evolved transparent or semi-transparent eyelids known as nictitating membranes. These structures slide across the eye without significantly reducing visibility, providing constant protection from debris, water, and sudden impacts. For diving birds, the membrane acts like built-in goggles, shielding the eyes from turbulence while allowing clear vision beneath the surface. In desert reptiles, it prevents sand from scratching the cornea during storms. The membrane moves rapidly and quietly, sometimes staying partially closed during hunting or flight to guard against unexpected hazards. Its transparency requires a delicate balance of thickness, moisture, and structural arrangement so that incoming light is not distorted. This adaptation showcases how vision can remain fully functional even when shielded continuously, offering a protective advantage in environments where danger to the eye is frequent. Human vision depends on the partnership between both hemispheres of the brain. Although each eye sends information to both sides of the brain, the hemispheres process different aspects of the visual scene. One hemisphere may emphasize fine detail, recognizing letters, textures, and small shapes. The other often interprets broader patterns such as spatial layout, emotional expression, or overall motion. Communication across the corpus callosum ensures that these interpretations merge into a single coherent perception. This blend of specialization and integration allows humans to understand complex scenes quickly and accurately. Damage to the pathways connecting these hemispheres can lead to striking perceptual changes, revealing how interdependent they are. The visual world that appears effortless is actually the result of constant collaboration between two halves of the brain, each contributing unique strengths to the experience of sight. Some animals use reflective crystals inside their eyes to boost vision. Various species, especially those living in dim environments, line parts of their eyes with reflective crystals that send unused light back through the photoreceptors for a second chance at detection. These crystals, often composed of guanine or similar substances, form organized layers that reflect light with remarkable precision. The arrangement enhances sensitivity without distorting the image, enabling animals to see in settings where illumination is scarce. This adaptation can create the impression of glowing eyes when illuminated by an external source. It represents a biological strategy for maximizing available light, crucial for survival in caves, deep waters, or nocturnal habitats. The mirrored structure inside the eye turns every photon into a valuable resource, increasing the efficiency of vision where every glimmer matters. The eye learns to interpret letters and symbols through cultural wiring. Written language is a recent development in human history, yet the visual system adapts readily to reading by repurposing older neural pathways. Areas originally used for recognizing natural shapes shift to interpret letters, numbers, and symbols. Over time, repeated exposure strengthens connections that allow for rapid decoding of written information. Children gradually develop these pathways as they learn to associate shapes with sounds and meanings. Adults continue refining them with practice, achieving speeds that make reading feel effortless. This cultural wiring demonstrates the brain's flexibility and its ability to expand visual interpretation beyond biologically inherited abilities. The act of reading becomes a collaboration between ancient visual circuits and newly acquired patterns that shape how information is processed. Some creatures can focus on multiple distances simultaneously. Certain species possess eyes with layered retinas or divided lenses that allow them to process near and far images at the same time. This ability helps predators monitor close-range prey while remaining aware of distant threats. In some aquatic animals, the eye is partitioned so that light from different angles reaches separate focusing zones, enabling simultaneous clarity across a wide depth range. The brain receives parallel streams of information and interprets them without confusion, creating a composite perception that spans multiple distances. This adaptation is especially useful in environments where depth changes rapidly, such as coral reefs or dense forests. It reduces the need for constant refocusing and allows immediate response to both nearby and distant events. Human eyes are gateways through which consciousness interprets reality. The journey from light to perception involves not only optical structures and neural processing, but also the presence of conscious awareness. The eyes gather information, but meaning arises when the mind engages with that information, shaping it with memory, emotion, and personal experience. Every scene becomes a fusion of external stimuli and internal understanding. Consciousness selects which elements to focus on, filters distractions, and assigns significance to patterns that might otherwise pass unnoticed. This interpretive process transforms the raw physical world into something lived and felt. The eye serves as the threshold between the environment and the inner world, where perception becomes experience. Through this gateway, reality becomes something more than light and matter. It becomes a story, shaped uniquely by each observer. As we come to the end of this quiet journey through the mysteries of the eye, I hope you feel a little more connected to the wonder woven into every moment of seeing. Even with closed eyelids, the mind carries its own soft glow, shaped by memories, colors, and gentle impressions that echo long after the light fades. You have just wandered through a world of tiny miracles, each one happening in the space of a heartbeat, each one reminding us that our senses hold far more depth and beauty than we often realize. If you enjoy these peaceful explorations and wish to drift through more hidden corners of science, I invite you to like, subscribe, or share a thought below. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. But for now, let your breathing slow. Allow the day to fade away, and let yourself settle into comfort. Good night.